Hello there, what is going on, everybody? Lots of news, reveals, and gorgeous imagery out of Essen at Spiel over the weekend. Starcraft the Miniatures Game, big discussion point. We're going to talk about that, show you guys a ton of images, screenshots, and kind of share and bask in the hype. Archon Studios has put up a huge display, lots of hype for Starcraft the Miniatures Game. I'm very excited about this game. It looks gorgeous, it looks very cool, and I will tell you, between you and me, everybody watching, like, it's a big secret, I have reinstalled StarCraft, and I'm not talking about StarCraft 2, which of course I'm going to do that. I'm going all the way through. I've reinstalled StarCraft 1, and I'm playing through the original campaign. After that, I'm going to redo Brood War, and we are going to then eventually graduate to StarCraft 2, starting with Wings of Liberty, and we're going to kind of go through all of it one more time to reacquaint with the story. I'll tell you this, the music is so iconic. It's in my head right now, and I'm talking StarCraft 1 music. StarCraft 2 music is great too, but StarCraft 1, man, that was like one of those early video game music. Incredible. So it's going to be totally playing. It's going to be my playlist when playing the StarCraft Miniatures Game. This is a combination of screenshots and images we're going to look at from people posting at the conventions on social media, Archon's own images that they've shared on their Discord as well. Wargamer.com had a great interview with Jarek from Archon, and talking about a 9-year plan for this game. Very cool. I'll link it down in the video description below. It's very cool stuff. Look at this. Look at these. Look at the Terrans here. I did make a mistake with what we were going to call them in one of my other videos, and so a lot of you have corrected me. Yes, these are Terran Marines, not any other kind of Marines, right? But we have medics there, we have Hellbats and a Goliath, all on display. We even have some heroes that we're going to look at in a little bit. Very cool. And there were demos happening at Essen too, which was a very cool thing. Also, I do want to remind you guys, we are doing our 12 Days of Life Day giveaway throughout December. So if you want to have a chance to enter to win any of the big giveaways we're going to be doing in December, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on one of my videos. It's as simple as that. I want to know some of your favorite units from StarCraft, and what do you want to see show up in this game. This looks very cool, and it's going to be very exciting. I love the way the Marines look. The medics too, like, and it's very cool use of the clear plastic that they're using in some, but not all, of the units, right? It really kind of helps this game stand out, and it does also kind of beg the question for you hobbyists out there: are you going to paint the clear plastic? I've gotten some stuff from Archon in the past that has clear plastic. It's done very well. You can glue it with regular plastic glue. You don't have to use super glue on it. You can, it handles like, it handles well enough, just like regular plastic off of the sprue. They have entire sprues of this clear plastic, which is very cool, and it gives certain effects and certain things that certain pop. But you can still paint on it, or you can do like a little bit. You can even do like a fade. And I wonder, like, there's so many new possibilities that has me really curious on how I'm going to approach some of these, which is very cool. Look at this Goliath here too. Goliath Online, very nice looking. And it looks like this is going to be some of the kind of original stuff. I don't think the Goliaths are going to come in the starter box. I think the starter box, to keep costs relatively affordable, is going to, I think they've said it's going to be like a Rainer and some Marines, and maybe a medic or Hellbats. As you can see, the Hellbats there too. A little bit bigger than the regular Marines, right? I think there's some Marauders in there too. I'm not sure if they're everything that's in the background on what is exactly what, but looks very cool. I'm excited about the Terrans, but look at some of these images, man. These guys are painted really well. They look great. I love the look of these guys. They're gonna look really fun. And it's going to be cool. And then we've got some looks at some hero poses here with Rainer, kind of looking good. This is kind of like Rainer from the campaign select menu, right? It looks really good. I'm down for it. This also kind of makes me wonder you know, if this does well, are we going to see other things? Are we going to see like a Heroes of the Storm stuff? You know, that's like a little bit of every Blizzard game. A lot of people talking about. A lot of you guys in the comments were talking about thinking to see World of Warcraft out of Archon next. Personally, I'm interested in to see. I wouldn't mind seeing an Overwatch miniatures game, especially one that features the gameplay elements of kind of pushing the payload and doing things like that, which isn't something that's done too often in tabletop skirmish games. So I think it could be some cool aspects to that, which would be fun. It would also allow you to build boards, make your terrain like, hey, I want a kind of a curving path in this one, so we have to push the payload through and stuff like that. So it would be a really fun way to do things. But before I get too far off topic, let's keep this going. And again, all the stuff that you're seeing is still pending licensor approval. But from some of the stuff that I've read and discussed, you know, it definitely seems like the relationship between Archon and Blizzard is going really well, and approvals are, you know, I don't see any reason why things wouldn't be approved. So this just looks like it's going to go really, really well. Here's a great example of how the clear plastic can look amazing on these medics. You see a little bit in the shield there, and a little bit of that healing beam coming out. This is nice. And you have different poses too. You know, like not every Marine is has the same pose. Not every medic is in the exact same pose. So you're gonna have some variation here that I am totally digging. So yeah, this is gonna be really cool. Let's look at some Zerg. We got some Hydralisks. We got Kerrigan. Again, the heroes. We have a little bit of a look at all the heroes. Now, the heroes are getting special bases. The heroes are going to kind of, they're doing a lot to make the heroes stand out. Because not all of the heroes are large, and it's easy for a hero to sort of get dwarfed next to larger models. So they're giving them these fancy bases and these dramatic poses and all this fancy stuff to really make them stand out and feel heroic on the battlefield. So that looks very cool. We're also seeing some little Zerglings here. Some big stuff in the background. This, I believe, a Nidus worm in the background here, and apparently there's going to be another version of Kerrigan that's like riding a Nidus worm. So I think that's something that we're likely to see, is multiple versions of heroes, whether or not they're just promotional, kind of like the Zeratul that you could have gotten at the con, that was available on their website. And we talked about the Zeratul. They've done a painting version of that. You know, so whether they're just like promotional versions, or if there's going to be different versions. Like, I think they've confirmed there'd be a version of Raynor on a vulture. I imagine that would mechanically function a little differently than Raynor on foot, right? So, yeah, you know, like I think it might be a little bit of both. Sometimes you get an alternate art version, and then sometimes you get an alternate gameplay version. For example, I could also see Kerrigan as a human sniper. You know, I could see there being different versions of different stuff like that. We've got what look like roaches in the foreground here, and also I believe that's a broodmother in the background. I'm not sure if it's Zagara or not, but yeah, these, I mean, their Zerg are painted extremely well. These are beautiful. I'm kind of blown away, and I wish I could have gotten a gameplay demo. I want to learn more about, you know, about the creep and about the different extra tiles they have, and how that's all going to play into everything. This is going to be using inches. It is going to be using, played like a lot of modern war games. You're still going to be using dice. It does have cards though. We've talked a little bit about that. They are going to have cards for different units, so that's very helpful. You know, we won't be forced to go through a book for everybody's stats. Some of the terrain and tiles and display setups they had out there at the con were absolutely gorgeous. Another good look at the Zerg here. And, of course, what would StarCraft be without the Protoss? We have some Zealots here that are looking great. I love the pose here. They are, like, they're coming in. They're on the move. They're coming in ready to cause a lot of problems. I always really liked the Protoss, and I definitely am a big fan of Zealots. Great infantry, if only they had some kind of defense against air attacks coming at them. But outside of that, their shields are holding. They're doing great. So a lot of the Protoss stuff here was still kind of in the gray. I don't think they're coming out right away. You can see the pylon there. Big, beautiful pylons, right? So in order for them to get painted, we must construct more pylons. You're seeing a lot of great examples of the clear plastic with the shielding, which is a beautiful and brilliant way to do clear plastic for shielding. And there's some really interesting things you could do if you did want to hobby these up a little bit. You could put like a wash over some of the clear plastic and maybe kind of give it, it'll still be clear plastic, but it might have an extra little hue to it. You could even try thinning out some contrast paints and kind of doing fades and doing maybe there's bullets hitting one part of the shield and it's going to glow a little bit more brighter in certain areas. And, there's I think the hobbyists are going to have a lot of fun with this stuff. It looks really, really cool. We're seeing quite a wide variety of Zerg here, and you look like probes, and I think there's stalkers in the background. Lot of cool stuff here. Interesting to see how everything goes. I think this is Artanis. So you're going to see again. These guys are cool looking. They're very cool looking. I'm a little rusty on the actual Protoss heroes. Like I said, I am going through the campaign again, but it starts with the Terrans. So like the Protoss come in a little bit later. So I'm a little rusty on my Protoss heroes. So please don't crucify me too much in the comments over possibly getting a Protoss name wrong. But I do like the Protoss, but I'm playing a lot of Terran right now to reacquaint myself with the game, because it's funny when you think about StarCraft and how long it's been out. It can make you feel a little older, because it has definitely grown. I also want to take a look at some of the sprues that they did have on display. This is kind of what some of the clear plastic is. It can look like. There's different versions of this, and for different factions. It seems like green there. That's obviously part of like your medics, and I'm also curious how list building is going to go. Like, can you just add a single medic to a Terran Marine group? Can you run like some medics by themselves? Are they only sort of a detachment, or is every single model you add individually costed, so you can kind of make up your units exactly how you want, like you would in the actual video game? Like, I want 2 fire bats, 3 marines, and 2 medics, and that's going to be my little, my infantry ball. Or can you, I'm really curious about a lot of the specifics about that. But there's other colors too. For example, with the promo Zeratul, they are giving you 2 full models, but only 1 base. So you have the option to use this base and build a fully, realized and painted Zeratul, or you can use all of the clear plastic and have a fully cloaked Zeratul. Or you can mix and match if you're wanting to do something like that. And I think there's a lot of really cool options that you can do there. Which could be really fun. So that's an example of it. Now, and the other thing about this too is you could just build them both if you have a spare base kind of laying around, and then have an option, or maybe put magnets in the feet. And depending on how cloaking works in the game, if you can cloak and decloak at will, which is kind of how some units do it. Then again, I believe Dark Templars are permanently cloaked, so you that can be however you want it to be. But like, for example, if you're running Kerrigan as a sniper, then maybe she would want to turn her cloak on and off. Maybe Wraiths would want to turn their cloaks on and off. And apparently, like, a lot of vehicles are going to make it into this game. They were talking about some really big vehicles. Apparently, siege tanks have been also confirmed. Ultralisks were confirmed. As far as I think the biggest thing that they're trying to do right now. We're going to see some big things eventually, although not right away. Again, according to the Wargamer interview, they're talking about a 9-year plan for this game of constant content coming out, and that's just right now. It doesn't mean that they're going to stop at 9 years, but you obviously plan out far ahead, and that's kind of what their plans are so far. So there's definitely a lot of potential for this game and a lot of additional things for them to add. And before you even look into getting the sub-factions, just to fill out the existing factions, there's tons of units, from infantry to small vehicles to even medium and kind of semi-large vehicles that can really help take the battlefield. Anyway, this just looks awesome. Archon did a great job. I'm really excited about this game. I also want to remind you guys, if you guys are looking to transport your minis and looking for holiday purchases and you want to save some money, we have a deal going on with Battle Foam right now using code Crabbok VIP. You can save 15% over at Battle Foam. So if you are looking for, you know, everything from foam to Magna racks to transport cases for stuff for local, or you want more heavy duty stuff to be able to travel with if you're going to gaming conventions and you paint up your miniatures and you want to protect them, you can head it over to Battle Foam and use code Crabbok VIP. You're going to save 15%. I've got a link for that in the video description below. You can check that out. And that's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you guys for watching, and big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing. Help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. Link for the Wargamer article will also be in the description below. That's going to do it. I will see you guys later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. My life for ire. So say we all. The spice must flow. And always wash your socks.